When I get older, I'm gonna go to Freaknic. You know, everybody's going to Freaknic, and you hear about going to Freaknic.
I like Freaknic. I like taking this weekend off.
I remember it being blankets out and just, you had your little boom box and a volleyball net, and that was it.
A lot of fellas just want to see a whole lot of flesh and see somebody do something wild and outrageous. That's why they always have their cameras out.
The corner of my blanket may have touched yours. You were from Spelman, and the corner of your blanket may have touched someone from Morris Brown. And that was it.
And the girls just want to put on their little summer clothes and attract attention.
It was just mingling and just having fun and eating and listening to music.
Just a whole bunch of black people getting together, having a good time by any means necessary.
I like it. It's cool.
Freaknic started 15 years ago when a group of students who were members of the DC Metro Club, which was a social club for Washingtonian students in the Atlanta University Center. That year, everything we did centered around the dance, The Freak. There was Return of the Freak, we had a fundraiser, and everything had the name The Freak in it. And it was time to plan our spring break activity, and we decided to have a picnic, and then the question became, what were we going to call the picnic? And a member, or one of the people in the room, said, let's call it Freaknic.
My experience with Freaknic goes back to like 82 through 85 or so, seeing as I'm one of the old heads. And I remember it being a small like softball outing and like a little picnic deal. No heavy issues, no cops, none of that kind of stuff.
When we first started, there were 50 to 60 students. We decided to get together in Piedmont Park. There was barbecue, there was music, there was beer. We did have a keg of beer, and dancing, and just an opportunity to get together because of, you know, during the year you're so busy with studying and other activities that you begin to neglect your friends. And so it was just a good opportunity for us to get together and just catch up and have fun.
It went from a AUC thing to an Atlanta thing to a nationwide thing. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely grown a lot. It's even, I know it's even going from one day to a weekend now, so, you know.
I understand they mentioned Freaknic on A Different World, and because of that, the word of mouth spread even further, and with that, it brought the influx. Now, in addition to that, the mayor and the police chief decided to let the students have full reign of the city. You know, get away with drunken lawlessness, smoke whatever you want, do whatever you want, get butt naked in the street. Who would not want to come back to a party that you can just do what you like and see whatever you like?
First and foremost, cars were not a part of Freaknic back then. None of us had cars. If we had cars, we would either be at home in Washington for that weekend or in Florida at the beach or anywhere. But cars, we just didn't have cars. And so that wasn't a focal point at all. Once it grew, and you started seeing people from out of town coming in for it, and now we know it today to be, you know, an event that brings people not only from the rest of the country, but out of the country. So, you know, it's an international event.
It's just changed. I can't really say that there's anything bad. Only thing that's bad about it is just the safety. You know, people are being hurt.
What I have heard from upperclassmen and other people who have been here already is that you can have fun, but it's also dangerous. As far as you getting assaulted or bad things happening to you.
Last year at Freaknic, you know, I saw a girl hanging out her car, and some guys wanted her to do something, and next thing I know, I seen a bottle fly and hit her in the head, and then some guy went and stole on her. It could be anybody, you know what I'm saying? You're at the wrong place at the wrong time, anything can happen to you, you know? It could be locals or college students.
I think the name Freaknic is kind of degrading, you know, honestly.
It gives the people an impression that when they come down here, that everybody is going to just be a freak, basically. Like me and my friend, we're out here right now, but that doesn't mean we're going to jump on top of somebody's car and just start shaking and taking our clothes off. But that's what they think, because you're out here and you're a girl, you want somebody to look at you, talk to you, feel on you, grab on you, but it's not all about that. So the name kind of gives people, yes, a very bad impression.
But I don't think the people that, you know, thought of the name Freaknic had intended for it to be derogatory.
The name Black College Weekend is maybe a little bit better because that's what it was designed for to begin with. It was designed for Black college students just to get together, have a little fun, do positive activities. Now, what has it turned to now? I do not know.
Personally, I don't know. It's some people already think, okay, well, blacks are, you know, all they do is play sports and make babies and, you know, stuff like that. And then when you hear the word Freaknic associated with a black activity, you like, yeah, I told you about them folks out there. That's all they do. That's all they know.
Well, it's taken on a new meaning, and I think if people knew the history of it, then people wouldn't be so afraid of it, or would think of it as a derogatory term. But it was very innocent, and it all came from a dance. There was nothing nasty or derogatory or funky about it. It just came from a dance. There's a group called Le Chic, in fact, who recorded a song, Le Chic, Chez Freak, or Chez Freak. I'm not going to sing the song, but I think for those of us who were of that time, they know what I'm talking about.
We were doing the freak, let freak stay chic, and that was the dance, you know, that we were doing back then. But I think that the greater society here in Atlanta probably still is not aware that that's where the name originated.
I think with anything, when you're away from home or away from your normal surroundings, I think people will tend to do things or say things they wouldn't ordinarily say.
Sometimes people need that chance to just go out. You know how some people have some inhibition, you know, that they just want to do something that they just know they can't do at home because they know people in their neighborhood, they know people at their schools, and their parents will somehow find out. I mean, you come out to another place and then it's like a whole bunch of people from other places who don't know you, and you kind of feel like, okay, well, maybe I can get away with this here, you know. Well, some people are actually like that at home, which I'm not going to talk about.
All Freaknic is just a time for you to, you know, relax. Get away, relax.
And there are so many different people that there's a bunch of different vibes going on. You got your freaks that get up on the car and shake that thing with the G-string. You got your people that look at it more of a freedom fest, as in expression of their culture or so on along those lines. I think it affords people an event where they can come and mingle and mix with other people, where they can lose some of their inhibitions because there's so many people that they don't know. For the mass majority, they're not out there to, you know, show themselves or disrespect themselves in a way.
If I had a girlfriend or daughter or, you know, a sister out here, I wouldn't want her, you know, dressing like a, you know, loop dancer. Yeah, I admit I have a double standard, yeah, when it comes to that. And I think most men do.
You know, there's a level of responsibility on our part as those who live here in the city, you know, as a municipality, but as well as those who participate, to behave and act responsibly. But then on the other side, you know, if we spent as much time focusing on spring break in Florida, I mean, people falling off of balconies, women stripping, and that doesn't say it's okay. It just seems that we're held to a different standard.
I don't see the same emphasis been displayed about the Daytona stuff. The Daytona stuff on MTV, what you see is the cruising and women sitting in the back of the car and woo. Okay, that's fine, but you never see the. I'm sure fights happen. I'm sure there, you know, there's ignorance that's going on.
What I think people don't like is there's an innate fear of near 200,000 blacks, African Americans coming to the city all at one time. I think that people have a fear, an innate fear, whether they want to admit that or not. I think that is the problem with Freaknic coming to the city. And of course there'll be people to deny it. But I'm trying to be forthright here, and that's just the reality. And people feel uncomfortable with that many blacks coming together all at one time. I have never seen an issue that crosses all social perspectives, political, economic, and cultural. No other event or other issue has affected the city the way it has. So it doesn't surprise me that we would have a leader who would flip-flop on this issue, and that's essentially what's happened.
Everyone is welcome in the city of Atlanta.
I think it sends a mixed message. By it one year, you're not welcome, and the next year, come on down.
Different pieces of misinformation that have been distributed either through the media or simply through word of mouth.
2 years ago, he wanted to put up an imaginary fence and tell people that they can't come to the city. I don't know how you can not only physically do that, but how you can deny anyone access or entry into the city that's supposed to be a welcoming city.
Why aren't African American students welcome in any city?
I think the first year when he said, you can't come, you're not welcome, he was really trying to appease white Atlanta and take a hard stance on it, and it backfired. How can you deny people access to the city, especially your own people? And so that backfired. And then the following years, it was really more of a controlling. We had a police state.
We clearly will have additional police officers because we anticipate having additional people in our city.
People came in and were greeted by armed police officers and not a very friendly police force.
Trying to put myself back in that perspective and that mindset when I was 19, 18, 20. I can imagine if you go someplace and your main thing is just having fun and you're met with so much negativity, that would hurt. It would hurt and also anger.
If I were an organizer, I would provide activities for them that would give them something to think about. Of course, when you're on your break, you don't want to sit down in an investment seminar maybe or something like that, but at least give them something to keep their mind active and maybe off of other things that wouldn't normally be, conducive to, to the right behavior, such as the concerts that they were having for them. Or why not have a field of like volleyball nets and, just something. I'm
not going to pay $40 on top of what I just had to pay to get here just to go to some events that, I'm going to just hang out. And you have to think from that perspective. You have to think from a young person's perspective. I don't have money. I don't have excess money. I have money for room and some gas money, and I got to have money to drink or whatnot.
If I was organizer, I would have a lot more planned events. It seems like a lot of people that do come down here to Freaknic, they want to see more of the wrong things. I saw like a car at Nations Bank the other day, and I rolled up and I just seen, a couple girls standing outside the car, and I was wondering what they were doing. So I looked over there, and next thing I know, the guy that was in the car, he just kind of had his hand, on her, what I'm saying, on her crotch type thing. And then I looked back, and then she was kind of flashing him and stuff. And I just didn't really know what to say. What was the question again?
Why does it have to be Atlanta? I don't know. Maybe it's because it's just something that started small and then it just, snowballed into all the different colleges and universities.
Well, if I had to say, Atlanta is the best place for it to possibly be. The weather is the best. There's good access here. The crime isn't terribly bad here. And it's the largest conglomeration of black colleges here in the city. But it could be anywhere. D.C., for instance. There's a large black population there. I don't know how receptive the president would be to getting caught up in DC-Nick traffic.
But I don't think it's any surprise or mystery that young blacks want to come to an event that is for them and about them, and have an opportunity to just, whether they blow off steam or just come to see or, to see and be seen. And the reality is, Freaknic is a phenomenon, meaning it is strictly word of mouth. No ad campaign has been developed or created to attract 200,000 African Americans to this city every third weekend in April. In my experience in Freaknic, both when it started and today, one thing that's really disturbed me is how when in its most controversial stage, no one stepped to the plate whose voice would have been heard to lend credibility to this event. Now people who in the past wouldn't want to step to the plate and say that they had anything to do with it all of a sudden want to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, I started Freaknic and I was a part of it when, and da-da-da-da-da, when they haven't really put forth any effort in building the event and making it a positive event, and have really taken the sidelines in this whole thing. And now that it's comfortable, now that it's safe, they're speaking out and saying that, yes, I had something to do with it. That troubles me.
I see it as still progressing, actually, and I see it as something that even if it got back to its roots, it would always be Freaknic. It would always be something that a few students started as a rally for unity, as a rally to party that got not only the city of Atlanta involved, but the whole country and the whole body of black students, whether they went to historically black colleges or not. It was us as a whole. It was like that billboard said, we are here.